Hi Stampers, Annette Pearson coming to you from Warnersville, Pennsylvania at NettePstamping.com. So, I want to show you something new today, coloring 3 ways. Now, this is for people who don't have all the colors. You don't have all of your 52 colors that Stampin' Up! Has out right now. In ink pads. So you want to do something, but you're not quite sure how to go about it. And I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you using our new Hydrangea Haven stamp set, which is so pretty. I love everything about this suite. Beautiful colors, lots of purples and blues, and I like both colors, so that just works for me 100%. And there's just so many beautiful things you can do with this. The paper that comes with it is just lovely. So I am using, to do this, there's also dies that go with it, which you can or can not purchase. That's entirely up to you. But what I want to show you beyond the whole Hydrangea Haven suite is just some things to do if you don't have the colors that you kind of really would like to have. Here's what we're gonna do. This card. This is a Kylie Bertucci design that I have borrowed from her. And of course, she graciously allows that, so I'm very happy with that. This is using the paper in the bottom, a cutout of the hydrangea, a piece of the ribbon, and of course the wording that comes with the set. It is gorgeous grape paper in the background, and the ribbon is gorgeous grape. And then I've used Highland Heather and gorgeous grape on the flowers here and in the big flower. And this is where the color thing tricks come in that I'm going to show you. So I have 3 different ways that I'm going to show you how to color those hydrangeas. And what I've done is I started out stamping them. I stamped it 3 times. I'm going to leave the other 2 over there for now. And I just used gray granite to stamp these. So I just wanted a very light, can you see that? I just wanted a light outline of the flower and the petals, the leaves. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is the easy one, this is using the Highland Heather stamping pad. And each one of these, the stamp set comes with, as you can see here, it comes with the detail stamp and it comes with the shading stamp. So the shading stamp is what you can use to add color. And keep in mind that you also have the dies. And if you don't have the dies, you can always fussy cut. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my color using this stamp. Very, very simple, okay? This is one of the 3D stamps that has all different shades in it. So you're going to get some light spots and some dark spots. And then I'm going to take, there's another shade that's just a little stamp. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to go in with Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to add a little bit of extra stuff here. I'm going to stamp off with this first, though, because that's pretty dark. In fact, I'm going to stamp off a lot with it because it's very dark. And then I'm just going to maybe throw in a couple pieces here and there, just so that it just adds a little bit to it. And then there's another one here that is your detail stamp of that little one that I just used. And I'm going to do that one just to add some dimension to the whole thing. Okay. So those are my stamps. Now I don't know if you can see what I did there, but I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So don't worry. Don't worry, I'm going to show you. Okay, I am going to do the leaves now, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz. Pardon my arm. I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz to do the leaves. and the stem. And as I told you, this is going to come out a little shaded and a little off the mark because it is supposed to look kind of like a watercolor almost. So there we have it. Now, can you see that? Okay, that may not look beautiful the way you think it should look. It doesn't really look the way I think it should look either. And I'm going to tell you why. Because now you're going to cut it out. Now, if you have the dies, there is a die that is going to cut that perfectly, okay? Right on the money like that. And that's going to make it look a little bit different, which it actually is going to make it look kind of pretty. And I have one done. Now, I've also done something else to this one. Here's how it looks when it's done. After it's cut out, this one has lighter blue in it than the one I was just working on. What can you do if you don't have the dies? Fussy cut. What's fussy cut? Take your scissors, get to the edges, and you move your paper where you want your scissors to go. That's the easiest way to do this and get a nice smooth line. Just kind of move your paper around like this. And keep it going all the way around. And that's how you fussy cut. Now, after that's all cut out, here's the other thing I did with this particular model. There's a die that looks like this. I cut that out in Pear Pizzazz and I laid that over top, but you don't have to do that. I just did that to add a little more interest to this particular sample. Okay, so that's the stamping method to add color to this. Now, if you don't happen to have, this is the whole purpose of this video, is to show you if you don't happen to have those colors. You don't have the grape, or you don't have the blues, or you don't have the colors that you want. There's some alternative methods that I think are just gorgeous. And I honestly prefer them. And I'm going to show them to you right now. First thing is Stampin' Blends. Now, I've used Highland Heather, dark and light. I used the light Seaside Spray. I have Old Olive, dark and light. And I have Granny Apple Green, light. Here's why. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to start with my dark. No, I'm going to start with my light blends. My light Highland Heather. And you just kind of color around here and there. And it doesn't have to be fancy. That's what I like about these things. You can work with them so well. So I'm just kind of coloring in, leaving some spots. The reason I'm leaving those spots, you'll see. Now I'm going to take my dark, and I'm going to just kind of shade in some spots here and there, and some of those dark, some of those empty spots that I left here and there. Color in some of the flowers. And then take your blue and do the same with it in those white spots that you left here and there. Add your blue, because hydrangeas just have all these really neat colors in them here and there, and that just makes it look realistic. And hydrangeas, here's the Granny Apple Green. I think hydrangeas always have some green in them. If you look real closely, you hardly ever see it, but it's there. And that really adds some realism to this. So I'm going to do the same thing with the stems, with the leaves. I'm going to start with my dark. I'm going to outline everything. I'm going to do my stem. Then I'm going to come in with my light. I'll show you real quick on one. You just kind of start with where the black lines are with the dark. Then you come in with the light and you blend that all in. That's why they call them blends. And I just think it really makes them look nice. And I do have a finished one here, so you don't have to sit here and watch me color. And here it is. This one is completely finished with all my colors. And again, I can either fussy cut this or I can throw my die on it and die cut it. If you don't have a die cutting machine, it's something you will eventually want to invest in if you're a serious card maker. I just know it. But if you don't have one right now and you can't afford one or you don't want to buy one as of right now, fussy cutting is the answer. Works out. See, I think that's just gorgeous, just like that. So the blends work really well, but I have another one and I really like this solution too. I'm sure you've seen me work with the colored pencils before. I love these watercolor pencils. I just think these are great. So what I did is I started with the Gorgeous Grape, and whenever I do watercolor, I mean watercolor pencils, I just scribble. I don't worry about getting anything perfect because that blender pen is going to bring it all together. So I'm going to take my purple and I'm going to smush it in here, and then I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to put some of that there. And I'm not going to make you watch me color the whole thing again. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do here. Doing the same thing with my Granny Apple Green. Oh, no, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my blender pen here. I'm going to blend in the purple. Get rid of all those lines, take it out here to the outside edge, get into some of the blue, blend that all in. Isn't it taking shape very nicely? I just think it's so pretty, the way that works. I love the way it works. So we're going to blend this all together. Then we're going to take, after we've got it all blended in like that pretty nicely, then we're going to take our Granny Apple Green and we're just going to throw that in just here and there, just to kind of give it a little bit of realism. And again, you'll take your blender pen and blend that in because it just zips it up. And again, I'm not going to make you stand here sit here and wait while I color the whole thing. I took Old Olive and I colored my leaves with Old Olive. And I put some Granny Apple Green in them too to shade them. And here's what the finished product looks like. So that was, unfortunately, these colors. I used Old Olive, Granny Apple Green, Balmy Blue, and Gorgeous Grape. And they come out of the two different sets. I tried to limit to one set, but I just couldn't do it. The Granny Apple Green and the Gorgeous Grape come out. Oh, and the Balmy Blue. Oh, okay. The three of them come out of the smaller set, the Assortment 2. The Old Olive comes out of the Assortment 1, which is the bigger set. But I tried using Garden Green, and the Garden Green I just thought was too vivid of a green. I don't know if you can see that on this, but the stem I did with the Garden Green, and I just don't like it, and I went over it with the Old Olive just to kind of tone it down a little bit. It was just too bright, but you get the idea anyway. So Blender pens are terrific to use with these watercolor pencils. They just make them look like they're watercolor. And I just think it's such a pretty idea. And the blender pens come 3 in a pack for, oh geez, I think $12. I'm not even sure exactly. And they last forever because I have 2 of them that I've been using for, months. And I use them a lot. So that's what I wanted to show you. The rest of the card I'm going to show you in a future video, because I try to keep my videos very short, and I just wanted to get the point across. 3 ways: blender pens, stamping, watercolor pencils, watercolor pencils. So you pick which one you like the best, and you pick which one you happen to have. I personally, I don't know. I switch back and forth. I've used a couple of them. And then I'll show you some more tricks with that set in my next video. Thanks for joining me. Here is all my information. NetteP Stamping, NetteP2020 at gmail.com. If you have questions, you can email me there. It's www.nettepstamping.com. You can also find me on YouTube, and here's the host code. If you place an order in February, please use that host code if your order is under $150. If it's more than $150, you keep the rewards for yourself. I have a little contest going now until February 28th. The winner receives a bottle of this all-purpose ink. To get in the contest, send me an email with shimmer in the subject line, or on my blog, which you are watching here probably, just put shimmer in the comments. That's shimmer, S-H-I-M-M-E-R. And that's because I showed you how to use this all-purpose shimmer paint in my last video. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time when we finish one of these Hydrangea Heaven cards.